Hi, it's Brittany from Empurrium. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing back to school sewing. We're going to turn the LindSport mini backpack from Lynn's Handmade into a full-size backpack for school. I feel like I need to scoot back. It's huge. So I made Thea, so this is for my daughter. School starts tomorrow. I made this for her for school because I had made her one 2 years ago. She took it through kindergarten and first grade. It held up pretty darn well, but this time we used vinyl, so it's really cute. These straps I used from the Cumberland backpack from Sew Yours, Sutherland backpack from Sew Yours, but apparently the pattern has been retired. So you'll have to figure something else out. And one thing I want to mention, because when I talk about the parts, and I also did a cutting video for this, before the sewing video, I put 2 layers of Geeky Fuse Polyfirm on these zipper panels. It was too much. So I recut them and I did 1 layer of Decaville Light. Perfect. But this print is a Empurrium exclusive. It is my donut cats. And then my tag is from Heartwood and Hide. This glitter vinyl is from More Me Know. Unfortunately, this color is not available currently. The hardware for my zipper pulls, I don't know where this one came from, but my little ladder locks and my pop tab pulls are from More Me Know as well. The zipper tape, webbing, and my thread are all the bubblegum color from Wizardry. And yeah, I'll show you what this is. So also, I took the LindSport mini backpack and I sized it up by 130% to make this. I did make the gusset 7 inches wide, so that's the only thing that I changed when I did the math. So in my cutting video I talk about how I did all of that, but the front pocket here has a slip pocket. It's got 2 slots for pens and then a bigger slip pocket spot there. And inside there is a big old slip pocket. The original pattern has a zipper pocket here, but I didn't do it. Oh, I also gave her a little note that she can look at. It says, "You look really pretty today," and it is a woven label from More Me Know. But yeah, I used the binding method from the Rosy Sling. That's a pattern from Knotted Threads Co. This is kind of like a mashup of lots of stuff, but it is mainly an enlargement of the LindSport mini. But I really like how I put the donut cats inside of there, but then the gusset is just pink. Had a lot of fun. I'm ready to reveal this to Thea, so I'll show her reaction to it. Yeah, it's a little bit of a longer video, but it's a beast. I love it so much. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love if you did. Let me know. I think I say at the end of the video too, but if you have a favorite full-size backpack pattern, I want to know what it is, because I want to make some. I want to make myself one too. So anyways, oh, George, coming up? Okay, George is gonna say that he loves the backpack. All right, let's get set. Are you ready to see your backpack?
I am ready.
Close your eyes. No peeking. Absolutely no.
You guys
peeking.
can see me.
Keep them closed.
What is that?
Keep them closed.
Feels like it's from some. Oh, no.
Open them.
It's not.
Oh, you want to see the front? Do you like it? Is it good enough now?
I'm gonna cry.
Okay, so.
I love it so much. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah. So here's your cat mom zipper pull.
I wanted it because I want to pretend mommy's the cat mom.
I
and
am the cat mom.
Yeah.
Alright, so inside you've got the pocket
Yes,
that
you
you
did
had
the same
before.
thing.
Yep,
Thank
so
you.
you can put pens there and
we probably will do that now.
What's this say?
Empurrium.
Yes. Okay, so on the back,
Let me see the inside. Though.
hang on. On the back, you've got your padded
Hold on, let me
straps.
see. It feels so
Okay.
comfy.
Well, I do need to figure out how long I want to make these for
Oh,
you.
that's
Because I need to trim it down.
this actually is
Well,
perfect.
you're not standing.
This is perfect.
That is pretty good. Huh.
See, it's not like all the way down here. So since it's so big, it's like right here.
Yeah. All right.
So it's so big.
So I'll do that
So let's take it off.
tonight. Okay, and then I have a little message here for you.
What is
It says, "You look really pretty today." I thought that'd be a good little spot for you.
Okay.
And then I planned the inside to have more donut hats in it. So you've got the donut hat linings, and then you've got a big old...
Do you guys want to see it?
I showed them already.
Ta-da!
Alright, so what do you think?
I was really so close to really cry.
Yeah. Love you, kiddo. Hey. The first thing I want to do before I start to sew is I want to go over all of our parts and pieces. George wants to say hi too. He's a good boy. So I got some webbing. I haven't decided exactly how long I'm going to cut it. I think I'm going to kind of see when I get there. But this is the bubblegum webbing from Wizardry. I am also using the bubblegum zipper tape from Wizardry, and then my thread is the bubblegum sewing string from Wizardry. It's probably my favorite. I use a lot. Okay, so I have 2 strips of waterproof canvas for binding. That's going to be the very last thing I use. Webbing we'll use in the middle. I have a logo tag for the outside, a woven label tag for the inside. Okay, and then these are our gusset pieces. So I have my 2 zipper panels, which I interfaced some waterproof cotton with 2 layers of Geeky Fuse Polyfirm, and it's pretty firm. I think maybe a little bit more firm than 1 layer of Decavo Light. I think it's gonna be good though, because it's gonna help keep structure. So I have my 2 zipper panel exterior, 2 lining, and then I've cut this zipper tape to be the same length, and then I have my bottom gusset in my full width. And in the cutting video, I explained this is 7 inches wide, and that's to give me a nice thick gusset. So I did change that. Like, that's not the 130%. And then I have the lining piece for that. So these are all of my gusset pieces. I'm gonna set those to the side. I have my ladder locks. I got these from More Me Know. And these are for the straps, which brings me to my next part of the straps. So I have, these are the straps from the Sutherland backpack from Sew Yours. I found out when I went to get the link that that pattern had been retired. You could like draw out a strap. I mean, it wouldn't be, it looks like a long sock to me, like a knee-high sock or something. It just it does. You could do just like folded over straps. You could do webbing straps. You could trace straps from like a store-bought backpack, something. This is what I had used. I wanted a padded like full backpack strap instead of just webbing, since it is like a school backpack. They're gonna carry it more. So anyways, I did that. I used a cotton soft. I think I used the Geeky Fuse cotton soft. I did 1 layer on each of these, and then I need foam. So I've just laid this down here so I can baste it on and trim it when I get there. But we'll need that, and then we'll need a couple pieces of webbing to hold the ladder locks onto those, but that's our straps. Okay. For our front part of the backpack, we have our exterior and lining zipper gusset pieces, and then my zipper. I still need to cut that. I need to do the math for how long it needs to be. But then we have the front pocket, and this is our exterior. And then we have a lining piece for the back of that. And then the inside, we have a lining piece, and then we have our piece to make our slip pocket, which I really can't remember which way it goes. I think it might go this way. Anyways, we'll get there. And then that all goes inside of this exterior piece. So it'll look like this. And then this is my lining piece for the back of the front. So here's all of my front pieces together. Gonna set them aside together. And then we are to the back. So here is my lining piece for the back. I have, what am I doing? So many pieces. I have my back exterior. I have a piece of foam that I will baste to that after I put all the straps and everything on there. And yes, there's lining. And then for the inside, I have a piece of waterproof canvas to make my slip pocket for the lining. I have my handle that's going to be folded over twice and go up there. And then I have my strap anchor that's going to go here, and the straps will go on that. So breaking it down into parts, we have everything for the back, which technically these straps will go with that. So that's everything for the back. We have everything for the front panel, and then we have our gusset. So those are our three main parts. And we are going to do the gusset first. Okay, for the zipper gusset, we have our two exterior, our two lining, and our zipper for the zipper part, and then we have the lower exterior and lining. Before I go any further, I started this and I had to stop because the exterior pieces that I had put 2 layers of the Geeky Fuse Polyfirm, it's too much. My thread was shredding, and I think it was just the fused glue. It didn't work right. I tried to make it work and it didn't. So I have recut these and I put 1 layer of Decibel Light, and it is nice. It's gonna be great. I even tried putting a thicker needle in, and it just wasn't working. So anyways, I have my zipper pulls on here, and I have them all the way at one end, and I stitched back and forth a couple times to make sure the zippers aren't going to come off. So I'm going to take one of the exterior piece. I'm so sorry, excuse me. And I'm going to put that right side down so that they are right sides facing together. And I'm going to go along the length, and I'm going to... So sorry, I'm going to clip it off. I would get hiccups right when I'm recording. Please enjoy that. Anyways, I'm gonna clip this all down. If you want to tape, you can. If you would like to baste, you can. I'm just gonna go ahead and be terrified that I'm going to hiccup nonstop. I'm gonna put my waterproof canvas down, right sides together, and I'm gonna go ahead and clip that on. And for the gusset and pretty much all of the pattern, I'm gonna stick with the seam allowance from the original pattern I'll let you know if I do change anything. And this truly is like, if you've made a bag with a gusset, most of them, like this part is going to be basically the same. So we're going to stitch this. For some reason my thread is still shredding. Okay, and then we are going to fold both of these out, and I like to clip this together, and by doing this it just helps me make sure that everything's gonna be even when I go to top stitch. Sometimes I will just go ahead and baste down this side, and I think I might do that on here. If you're making a pattern that you need to have these separate though, you won't be able to like stitch this down the whole way. Okay, so I'm gonna stitch around and I'm gonna top stitch the zipper part down. All right, please excuse the fact that I started sewing this, but I'm sewing down the side. I had to fix my machine. All right, so we are just sewing this together. So I've already mentioned the Rosie from Knotted Threads in the cutting portion, because I'm going to bind this the same method. You could use her bulk reducing method here too, but just truthfully gonna be lazy. All right, so here when we go to top stitch the zipper, when you are doing this, you want to make sure that that is laying flat and straight, but you don't want to like pull like, okay, here, like this as you go. You want to just try to keep an even straight pressure. You don't want to pull little sections out. That's what's going to give you like the wavy zipper. But if you keep it consistent, it should stay nice and straight for you. Alright, so now that we've got that sewn like that, I'm going to go ahead and do exactly the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to go ahead and speed that up, but I'm just making my zipper sandwich, flipping it, and top stitching around. So I've got my zipper panel done. It's nice and large. I've moved my zipper pulls to the center. I'm going to go ahead and trim down this side, and then I will hit both of these sides with some heat. Okay, so we've got that in the center. Now, just like most gussets, we are going to take and line up. Oh, hey, look at that. Look how nice that matches. Good job, Brittany. Okay, we're gonna match our exteriors. I'm gonna clip. If yours doesn't match up, you'll just have to trim either your zipper panels down or the bottom and just even everything up. It's not too bad. It happens. Alright, so then we're gonna flip it over and we are going to line the waterproof canvas or lining, whatever you used. So those are gonna go right sides together as well. And we're just gonna stitch straight across here. And again, I'm using the same seam allowances as the regular pattern. I have not changed that. And then we will flip this and give it a top stitch. So, right side down on both sides. Okay, this is a pretty big gusset. Most bags I make aren't full-size backpacks. Alright, so top stitch across here, and you're gonna have some bulk, so just take it slow. If you know your machine might struggle, you can hand crank as well. So we got that side done. We're going, this is so pretty together. So Thea came up here when I was struggling with my machine, and she's like, so this is the vinyl you picked? I was like, yeah, it's so pretty. And she's like, I really wanted the other one. And I was like, well, so sorry. Didn't have enough. I was like, but this is really pretty. She still wants the other print. And part of me is like, oh, I could just make it for her and then I could keep this one. But I'm like, she's spoiled. I really wanted to make the other backpack for myself too, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so we're, again, just repeating what we did. I think once it's all together, she's going to be so excited. Alright, this part is a little bit trickier because we have to make sure we're flipping everything the right way, but then I also want the lining side out to make it easier to top stitch. So trying to do this so you can see, but I am just trying to smooth that out, and I do want to make sure that this is all even. So something else I do sometimes, because I want to baste around the edges too, is I have top stitched or like basted, gone to my top stitch and basted. I just want to make sure if I do that, that everything is lined up correctly. So let's see here. We're gonna clip a little. And you can see I didn't line that side up as perfectly as the other one. It happens. But you just want to make sure that everything is even. And as like, there's like 1/8 of an inch maybe there where it's a little questionable. That's going to be in the seam allowance, so I'm really not worried about it. Okay, so this side's already top stitched. I'm going to start right here. I'm just giving it a little pull to make sure everything's even. Alright, and I'm going to line it up to make sure I'm top stitching exactly where I want to be. And trying to make sure you can see this right. Okay. Trying to see for myself and for you. Okay. And then turn it again. It's a little awkward, not gonna lie. Alright, our gusset is complete. And we can go ahead and set it to the side. This is what it looks like. Oh, you know what? I need to find my centers before I go any further. Alright, so I'm going to line these up here and just clip them there for a second. And then I like taking my really sharp scissors. I'm going to flatten that, and then it's like a tiny little notch. And I'm going to do that here as well. And then I'll take the clips off, clip my notches together, and that one is right there on the gusset, or the seam. Oh yeah, okay, that's cool. So it ends up where like the edge of the seam is. At least mine did. Okay. Now we can set the gusset to the side. It's so cute. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. The next part we're going to work on is the back and all of the components for it. So one thing I haven't mentioned yet is I am going to use this pre-made double fold bias tape. Got this on Amazon. I have it linked in my Amazon storefront. They have a bunch of colors, but that is what I'm going to use to go around the shoulder straps. So we've got the ladder locks, the binding, we have some webbing because we need to add that to the back. And then we have, oh boy, which ones? Must have picked these. Okay, so I have my 4 shoulder strap pieces. I have the foam for those. And then I have my handle, my strap anchor, my exterior lining, the slip pocket for the lining, and my piece of foam. So this will be everything we need to get the back panel all created. Sorry. Okay, what I want to do first is I want to baste these to the foam. So this is what I have picked for the back of my straps. I'm going to put the foam on the back of them. That's the part that's going to be like on the body. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, baste. I'm going to increase my stitch length. When I made this last time, I did not use the ladder lock, and I just had the webbing like come out of the handle, I think. No, I would have had to stitch it on because of the binding. But what I'm gonna do this time is I'm gonna use that ladder lock, and I'm gonna stitch it on with the webbing with like an X. And I was also trying to think, should I do that at the end? Should I do it like only on this back? And I wasn't sure, but I think I've decided I'm going to do it at the end of the strap, and then that's going to be when all the layers are together. And I think that'll be best because I'll be stitching through all of the layers, and then also I don't have to worry about going around the hardware when I put the binding on. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, now I need to trim around this. So also, I could have cut the foam and fused it, but I really didn't want to. And then I realized when I cut this foam that it isn't even the fusible kind anyways, I don't think. So, wouldn't have been able to, even if I wanted. And when you base this onto the foam, you definitely want to make sure that you have one of each direction, since it is a mirrored pattern piece. So that is off of there. So I'm gonna flip these over, and then I'm going to line up their opposites. And then I'll be clipping these together. If you did not want to do the binding around them, you could sew them and turn them right side out and then top stitch them. that's an option. And it really depends too, like on whatever pattern you're making. Maybe yours doesn't even have the binding. So I did get mine bunched up a little bit when I did the foam. Alright, so now I will baste all of these together. Oh, yeah, I can stay on my longer stitch. If you wanted a really padded handle too, strap, whatever you want to call it, you could do 2 layers of foam. Truly, the cool thing about sewing and making things on your own is you can like make things fit however you want and need them to be. Like, I mean, obviously not everything is possible, and it would be great if it was, but you have so many options. All right. So lots of sewing around on this. Alright, now we are ready for the binding. Which I feel like is probably the hardest part of these dang straps because, okay, so this is how, that's how I have them planned to be, I guess. Yeah, okay, so there are curves, and sometimes the curves aren't super easy. So I'm gonna, the one side of the binding just barely sticks out on the other edge, so I'm gonna put that on the bottom. And I'm gonna go past the edge. And I just really want to make sure that I have it all the way to the edge here. And this double fold bias tape, it does like stretch some for the curves, but when you get down here, it is still a little tricky because you do have, like, there's going to be a little bit of overlap. I have not figured out how not to do that. But I think if you just kind of stretch it, makes it a little bit better. using a lot of clips, but for good reason. And they really do look nice. Like, the binding is a nice little finish for these. Okay. I'm just going to trim that right at the end. And I'm going to sew around. Oh, I checked the back first. Okay, it looks good. Once we have the binding on, we're going to stitch it down. If you see stitch holes, I totally am not doing this for the second time. Okay, so I'm going to keep my whole presser foot on the binding to make sure I'm catching on both sides, because I personally have a problem not catching both sides. I could have properly done the binding, and maybe that would have helped too, so that I would have stitched each side. If you want to do that, please do. Alright, so yay, it all caught. That is a nice feeling. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do the other side, and then I'll come back and we will put the ladder lock clips, buckle. So I stitched around on the binding for both of those. I've grabbed my webbing and my ladder locks, and I grabbed my son's old backpack. I kind of roughly measured this, so let's see, this is 4 inches is good. So we need, okay, this part is going to be on the top, this part's going to be on the bottom. So like this. This piece is going to go in here. Like so. Okay, so I'm going to do that on both. I'm going to get another piece. Okay, I'm going to set the webbing to the side for now. I do need to heat these. I didn't do it on this side yet. Okay. So also this one, gonna go through there. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we want to end up like with this situation here, where we're folding it over. So it's about like this. I'm just gonna clip that. I'm gonna do that on this one too. So I'm folding maybe 1/2 inch. Okay. And then we want this to sit so that, oh, it's going to be like this. The edge. Also, you want to make sure you have these laid out so that they're going this way, because you want it to curve this way. That's how it's going to be. And this goes on the top of the strap. So good thing I didn't try stitching it on the bottom or the back. Like, that wouldn't have worked. But we want this. Let's see here. Yeah, this hangs over right like that. So I want to stitch this down like right here. And I'm gonna sew a box and then I'm gonna do the X. So and I want to get close but to the hardware, but it doesn't have to be like super close. I am going to back stitch through here. And looks like I'm hitting the hardware. I'm just gonna hand crank this first stitch and get that out of my way. Maybe 2 stitches. Alright, I'm off the hardware. So I'm gonna come up here. I'm gonna do a little back stitch in the corner. Back stitch here. And then I'm going to box this, and I want to end in the corner. And then I'm going to stitch across the bottom again. End in the corner. And then I'm going to come back. And I'm done. So I'll show you. It looks like that on that side, and that's what that looks like there. So it's on there. It's good. I'm gonna heat seal my threads, and then we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other one. So I have, when I flatten that, this is right at the edge. It's nice too, it kind of hides that slight ugliness I made. It's fine. Alright. So, same thing. Making sure it's lined up. So I started to touch the hardware. I'm gonna turn. And alright, since I was so close to the hardware, I'm gonna do a little something I learned. I'm going to back up and then twist. I was just too close to the hardware to try to stitch it like I did the last time. Okay. Gonna back stitch at the top again, stop at the corner. Make my diagonal. Stitch across the bottom one more time. And then bring that up again. Back stitch. And I'm done. Yay, okay, these look good. So again, they go this way, they curve out. I'm proud of that. I've never used these. Okay, so now I've grabbed her old backpack because I'm gonna have to probably do a couple of measurements. I swear the whole neighborhood is just loud when I do videos. So, I apologize. Okay, we need the back, the straps, the handle, the strap anchor cover, and we're gonna need more webbing. Now, last year, this is what Thea was, the last 2 years, this is what she was working with. So yeah, see, I stitched that on the back. Okay. Kids are yelling, it's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna need, so that was the length. So this is gonna get stitched into the corner, and honestly, I probably should have made like one of these things. This little, that probably would have been good, but for Thea, she's doing 2nd grade. I'm not so worried about it this year. She doesn't carry that much, but so I'm just gonna put it in there. But I'm going to measure this. I'm gonna double it and then go out a couple inches because it's just gonna be adjusted down, and I can always trim it if I really need to. She's gotten a little bit bigger too, but I'd say, well, okay, maybe that was too long. So I did like 23 inches. And it's probably too long, but again, just gonna dangle, and I will make it shorter if I need to. So just be mindful of who you're making it for. But okay, set that to the side for a second. Let's do our handle. Now, I cut this 9x4, and it turns out that is the measurement for the regular mini. So I maybe should have made it bigger. I think that's what I did, but I must not have wrote it down. However, that's fine because it is just a hanging handle and it's still gonna work. But we are just folding it in half, folding it to the centers, and then folding it over again, and we're gonna stitch. All right, so I'm just gonna go all the way around this. Okay, so here is our grab handle, hang handle, whatever you want to call it, it's a handle. And then we have this strap anchor piece. All right, I am going to measure down 1/2 inch on each of the long edges. And then I'm going to take some tape. I probably could have went in like, well, let's see here. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need to go in more. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna go in 3/4 of an inch. I forgot I used the Polyfirm, and it's gonna be pretty difficult to fold over. Only 1/4 of an inch. And I did make this wider, so all is well. Okay, so I'm gonna take the tape and I'm going to put it at the edge of that line on each side. Alright. I'm gonna peel one side. And then I'm gonna take and fold in to that line. And I'm going to do that on both sides. Oh, okay. I just remembered. I already pulled a woven label that I do want to put on the inside, but I like putting a label right here sometimes. So I'm going to give Thea a little, like, affirmation. I'm going to give her, oh, this one is messed up. Hang on. I'm going to give her a "you look really pretty today" label. I think that's cute. Oh, apparently mine are a little bit different. This one looks more like the color. Okay, that'll be fun. Why do they look like they have like a stripe through them? I don't know. Okay, maybe it's just me. They probably have always been like that. Alright. So I had, let's see, we have our seam allowance. It looks like I had started this down maybe 2.5 inches from the top of the backpack before. So if I had that at 2.5, I want to go in all right, we're gonna draw a line 3.5 inches down from the top of the back. All right, so I'm standing up because this is the only way I know how to do certain things. Sorry if I got louder. Okay, so from the very top, and I want this to be centered and like straight. Sometimes I will take the back of my bag to my cutting mat so I can line everything up, but I can't do that right now. All right, so this looks, oh wow, I centered that too. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to draw a line. Okay, this pen doesn't work well on this vinyl, actually. Let's see here. I think I need to go up. We're gonna go to like 3 inches. Yes, okay. 3 inches is where we're gonna go. All right, and then our center we want to mark, and then I want my strap. All right, so the strap is basically going to go here, the hang handle, and then we're going to put the shoulder straps right next to it. So we marked that. And let's see here. I want it to go like this. So we're going to take and put this just past that line. And we're going to stitch it down like right on that line. And I'm just taking the hanging loop and I have it like this. So right up to that center. That's how I did that. I could have spaced it apart a little, but I didn't. It's fine. Okay. And then, where did my little, oh, I moved it. Okay, our straps, again, are going like this. So we need to flip them like this to stitch them on. So we're gonna put these right outside of our handle and stitch them down. So again, just past that line. You could go ahead and just stitch across the handle again if you'd like. And I'm not worried about these lines I drew because they're gonna get covered. Okay. Basically, you want to make sure that you have enough space here that once your seam allowance comes in, you're not going to be stitching into the straps. So this looks good. Now we are going to put our strap anchor over this. So I'm going to put a piece of tape down the center. It's stuck to my... I was just talking to my friend Nova yesterday about how I try not to show my tape because it's always got cat hair in it, but I think I've showed you. Don't judge me. Okay, so again, I'm standing up to get a look, and I want this to come up, like I want it to be overlapped on this at least like a ½ inch. So basically kind of where my seam is, I'm just putting that down. Like I want this folded over part to go past that. And I'm going to have this like right here. So we'll get to that in 1 second. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention too. I mentioned it in my cutting video. There is a zipper pocket on the back of the LindSport Mini, and I am not doing that. Okay, I could go ahead and stitch this side down first so nothing moves, but I'll show you how I do these. So I'm just gonna go on the edge. These are like flopping around. Okay, I want to make sure this is in a good spot before I go any further. Okay, so I'm just gonna stitch like 1/8 of an inch here. And then I like to stitch 1/8 of an inch from that. Okay, now we're going to come up to the top and we're going to stitch 1/8 of an inch. There have been times where I have back stitched at the start and stop of all these, but I'm not going to because it's stitched to the back panel. I'm stitching here and then I'm going to do the second stitch. If that's not enough to hold it, those extra back stitches probably wouldn't have helped. So again, just turn that around. I love it so much. Okay, and then I'm going to just trim this excess off on each side. This is so cute. So cute. Okay, and then we need, where did my webbing go? On the floor. We need to attach the webbing. So that is going to go here in the corner. You want it to angle up. Again, you can absolutely do that little triangle. I think it's a good idea. Over here, and this will get stitched in when we do the binding and everything too. Okay, so this now, let's see here, just using my son's as an example. Okay, we're gonna go up through here and then down through here, and it is kind of like tight on the webbing. It's pretty nice. So this holds well. Okay, so this is where you can like try it on the kiddo or yourself or whoever you're making it for, or just literally take a look and see like how long you want this to be. Once you decide your length, I'm gonna wait until it's completely done. You just take and like fold this in a couple times and stitch, and then that's not going to go back through there. Probably do it like that if you want. Dom's old backpack looks like this. Oh, that's cool. So you could like loop your finger, and I actually really like that. So it helps them pull. That's cool. Okay, but again, what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to clip this out of the way for now. Okay, we need to baste this onto our foam though, because I have not attached that. And I said it in the cutting video, but the reason I wait to put the foam on until now is you don't want to stitch all these lines with the foam. It'll just make it like fold. So, not good. Okay. So I'm gonna baste this. Right, and you want to make sure that your straps and your handle are out of the way. Now we're going to trim the foam off here. The foam is, I mean, technically optional. However, I think, like, for comfort, it's nice to have on the back panel, because depending on what they've got in their backpack, it can, you know, keep it from poking them. It's not much, but it's something. And I'm not trimming my webbing right now. This is so cute. So that is our back panel exterior done. Now we're going to work on the lining part of the back. We've got the lining for the back and we have our slip pocket for the inside. Just gonna take that and fold it over. And match up the edges. Then what we're gonna do is sew from here to here, leave an opening, so there to there. Leaving my opening. Trim your corners at angles. This is going to help it set nicer when you turn it right side out. If you're using waterproof canvas like I am, it's not the easiest. Probably should have just used the print, but I was already using the print as the lining. I feel like if you camouflage something for a kid, they're gonna pretend it doesn't exist. It's just facts, okay? So if I would like put something in there for her or something, it would probably get lost. So I'm gonna use my screwdriver. You want something that's not going to poke a hole. Okay. So roll your seams out. If you want to press, you can, depending on your materials. I'm just going to go ahead right now before I even mess with that. I'm going to top stitch. I was going to say, my bobbin sounds like it's almost out. Right on the top stitch. I was gonna change it literally after this stitch. So that's fun. Okay. So I'm gonna trim this. Go back to right there. Hold that. Okay. Not perfect, but it's alright. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this over. Just match that up. And this is the bottom of my pocket, so it won't show as much. Alright, so you can kind of eyeball it where you want it to go. I think this is probably good. Well, okay. I'm gonna put it right here because I want it out of seam. If you want to measure, please absolutely do so. You can also divide this pocket for pens or whatever if you'd like. Okay, so that is on there. I could have put my logo tag in here, but I didn't, so here's what it is. Alright, we're going to clip this to the back exterior. I'm sorry if you can hear the child squealing playing video games. Okay, so we just want to make sure. What time is it? 3:18. Some kids had school today. Like, they call it a transition day. So the kids who are going to new buildings this year, which would be for us is 5th grade, 7th grade, and 9th grade. They had like a day of school today without all of the older kids in the building being there. So bus could have been for some of them. I had a slight panic this morning when a couple of my friends post first day of school pictures. I was like, no. It's like, oh yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna baste these together. I'm gonna do it from this side. It's easier with the straps and everything. And then hopefully we caught everything. The last time I didn't on something, I regretted it. Okay, all good. So here is our back panel, the exterior and the interior. Now we've got the back and the gusset done. We need to pull everything for the front, which is, we have our zipper for that front pocket, our zipper gusset, the exterior and the lining. We have our front main, our lining for the front, which is the last thing I'm going to need. And then we have the front exterior of our front pocket, the lining for the front pocket. We have our back piece for the pocket, and then we have our slip pocket piece. And I'm going to be putting my logo on here as well. I went ahead and made my markings for my pattern pieces. I did it on the back panel, and then I made markings on all of these and this piece. We have a couple markings. When I centered my gusset, I forgot that this pattern has markings for like the gusset seam, so I didn't really need to do that everywhere, but it's fine. Okay, I need to take my piece that is going to be the back of my front pocket, and then the slip pocket for that. I'm going to use these first. So you're going to fold this wrong sides together, matching the bottom corners up, and then you're going to press that. I want to see which one do I want to be front. Doesn't matter. Let's go with this. But you're going to top stitch along the top there. And then this is going to go onto this. So this is my piece that when I unzip the front pocket and fold it forward, this is up against the main panel. So this is going to get lined up on top here. You want the edges and the bottom to match up. I'm going to clip that. You could baste it on if you want. I'm just going to clip this side first because I'm going to make some measurements. Okay, so in the mini backpack pattern, it still has 2 pen slots and then like a slip pocket area. And I'm basically also going to do that. Oh. So I'm gonna go in 2 1/4, and then I'm gonna go in 2 from that. Okay, I know you can barely see those, however, I don't want to have to iron it. Okay, so if you start on, oh here, let's clip the rest of this down first. If you start over here and you stitch down the side, and then you like baste this together, you get like right to where that line is. I'm a little off, but it's okay. I'm gonna go up to my line, and I'm gonna go 1 stitch over, go back down, go over to my next line, and again, these are just pen slip pockets, like it doesn't have to be completely accurate because mine is not. Go over 1 stitch, then I'm gonna go down, and then You can divide this however you would like. But there's, even with the seam over here, enough space for a pen. Go ahead and trim these rounded corners at the bottom. I didn't even stitch on them. It's fine though. Okay, now we got to prep the zipper for the gusset. So I only have one pull on here. You could have two. So I'm going to want to be mindful that I want mine to zip this way. But if you've got a directional print, keep that in mind. But we're just going to make a zipper sandwich. So right side of your exterior with the right side of your zipper. And then your lining right sides to that. Like I said, I can't remember what part I had to cut that. Zipper and exterior of the gusset right sides together. And then the lining of the gusset right sides into that. Make your little zipper sandwich. And then we're going to sew that together. And then same thing on the other side. Didn't cut my interfacing the greatest, so it doesn't quite go to the edge, but it's alright for this. Okay, make sure that nothing is twisted. Like, you don't want to have to take any stitches apart. And then you're going to want to flip these open, give them a little press, and then we're going to top stitch. There goes my iPad. I'm having a day. I feel like every video. It's just me. It's my life. Okay, and then once we have that, we're going to mark our centers on our zipper, I think. Pretty sure. Yes, we are. Okay. So she has you snip into the zipper tape, but I'm not gonna do that. I am going to clip these together to make sure nothing shifts. And then I'm just going to take a pen and mark my centers. I could have notched those, but I'm not going to notch the zipper. Okay, to quote my friend Lauren in a video she did, this part is the tricky biscuit. so goofy. Okay. We're gonna take the front exterior zipper pocket and we're gonna line up our marks. I swear I made marks. Yes, I did. Okay. So again, I want my zipper to close that way. So I'm going to want this to be like this. So I'm going to flip that down and I'm going to line up my markings. And I'm just going to get the flat spot first. And then I'm going to make sure that this isn't tangled. And then this mark is going to go down here. And I'm going to line that up. And then the side markings are for where your gusset goes. So the seam of my gusset, I'm going to line up with that mark. Now with resizing the pattern and doing the math for all these pieces, you might end up having to adjust a tiny bit. I'd be lying if I said it ever comes out perfect. Anytime I do it resized or not, it's fine. You make it work. Unless it's like really off, then you're gonna have a heck of a time. Okay. So that's what that's looking like. You can cut little tiny snips now to make this fit on the curves. And when I say tiny, like 1/8 of an inch. You don't want to go to 1/4 because we're going to be sewing it at 1/4. Okay, and then on the zipper, literally like the tiniest snips. And that's just to help it ease a tiny bit. I love these scissors for that reason. Okay. If you really wanted to, you could staple right here on these curves. I might have used a little bit too stiff of interfacing. I made the mini and I put a really thick vinyl on this piece, and I will not do that again. I learned my lesson there. Okay, so I'm gonna go on these straight edges a little bit more before I bend my zipper tape into those curves. It's looking like it's lining up really well, so pretty happy. We need to baste this on. Well, okay, hang on here. She has you actually sew it on. Okay. But what we're doing is we truly are basting it on. I'm just sewing it down the width of my foot so that none of my stitches show later. if you want to sew like your logo or anything on this front pocket, you need to do it now before you have a lining on it, but I'm putting mine up at the top of the other. Okay, so now we have this and this. We need the lining for the front pocket. So in the pattern, there are markings for an opening. I did not mark them. I'm just gonna make sure I leave an opening to turn this. Okay, so line up your centers. Right, you're gonna want to clip this, and it is slightly weird because you've got this whole gusset in here. Okay, I would suggest opening your zipper. I think she tells you to do this. But if you open the zipper and like move it inside of here, it's gonna make less bulk here when you're sandwiching the zipper. You might also need to move your clips when you sew this next part so that you can fold the zipper tape out of your way. So don't worry about putting too many clips on those curves. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna leave an opening here. Sometimes I move my clip to remind myself of that. And yes, okay. Gonna sew around here. Okay, so here, if this was flattened like that, you would potentially sew into your zipper, and you do not want to do that. So take your time here on the curve, move it out of the way as you go. Once you get about halfway around the curve, you can have your needle down and kind of shove it and it'll move. So again, just make sure, take your time, and make sure that zipper is out of the way. That's definitely something that if you do it wrong, you're going to have to fix it. Unless you don't want a functioning zipper. Okay, my zipper is right here, so I'm gonna move it a little bit. Make sure you left a turning hole. And then make sure everything got stitched nicely. You're gonna turn it right side out. Okay, almost. This is slightly difficult. It's a little bulky here with the gusset. I really probably should have used the lighter weight interfacing, but it's fine. This is why you don't want to do all this and then find out your zipper got stitched into the seam and redo all that. Okay. If you zip your zipper, you can play with the seams. So I got a little bit of puckering there. Slightly saw that coming. Okay, this is your opening. This is already stitched, so it looks nice. Hopefully. You're gonna fold this in, and you can tape it down if you want. I'm just gonna hold it, but you're gonna top stitch all the way around, and that's gonna close that. So it's a little bit hard for me to see. I'm trying not to put my head in the way. I'm not caring so much about like what this is gonna look like in here. I want the outside to look better. I'm just being honest. So that is the outside. Got a little bunched up there. It's okay. Literally, so this is gonna be like inside the bottom of that front pocket. So it's okay. Now we're gonna take the exterior piece and what we just sewed. We're gonna go like this. We're gonna flip this up and we're gonna line our markings up so that those are centered. And clip this top first. And then we'll flip this down and line the bottom markings up. And then there's no markings on the sides. You're just gonna kind of clip them together. And she sews this like this. So around that way. It is a little funky to sew. So all of this, okay, you can like move this too if it's gonna be easier. It looks like I have too much here. This vinyl is pretty stiff too. Okay, I gotta figure this out here. Because I'm really ending up with too much zipper tape here. And it keeps slipping off. Okay. I am going to get this figured out and then I'll be right back. Okay. I truthfully walked away for a moment because I needed a break. I took these scissors and I made little notches on my corners and I kind of like stretched the vinyl to make this work because it wasn't working. It needed some flexibility. Okay, we're going to base this in place. I really hope this works right. Okay, so she does it from this side. And I'm just hoping I can keep this how I have it clipped. So like I said, I notched all of this to stretch around that gusset a little bit more. It just really truly felt like the gusset, geez, okay, this is stuck in here. Felt like the gusset was a little bit bigger than this opening on this vinyl. Which it could be, like I've said, I resized the pattern, so it's not perfectly how it was made. probably need to open this so that can be folded out of the way. Yeah, okay, so this is kind of cool though. When you do this part, you can just kind of stretch it and sew straight, which, yes, it's a curve, but it's like you're sewing straight. And that helps stretch the panel piece along to fit your zipper. It's pretty neat how it works. But yeah, getting this clipped on with how thick this vinyl is was difficult. But it wasn't undoable. Impossible? That's the word I meant? Sorry. Get a little frustrated and just ramble. Okay, now that that's the straight part, I zip that up. Now this is where I need the gusset, or I need the exterior to stretch a little again to fit around this curve. It's got some bulk. It's on! Whew. Sometimes you just need to step away for a minute. It truly, like... Okay, so that is on there. Yay. Good feeling. Alright, now we take this, and it's going to go this way. So you're going to match up your marks here. And there's my mark. There. Match your straight edges up. And you're gonna have to work with this again, but this does fit because it's exactly the same as the other side. You just kind of have to fold it, manipulate it a little. Which way does she sew this? Yes, like this again. Okay. I think I tried one time to sew it in the opposite direction, and I was like, oh, there's a reason she tells you to do it the other way. If you've made the H2O to go, the curved pocket is kind of like similar to this. This is harder though. Okay, almost there. Alright, so we're gonna sew it this way. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead and unzip this right now. You're gonna just kind of have to flatten this curve down as you go. This is a lot of bulk right here. But if you do like one stitch at a time and adjust, it helps minimize pleats. Okay. I'm gonna be careful on these curves. Am I stitching it the wrong way? No. Okay. You've got, so remember when we sewed the zipper before, you want to make sure that your zipper is flat. Because if it's not, you're going to have it bunched up and you're not going to be able to use it. So take your time. Make sure everything is not getting unaligned. That was close. I love when you're working, like sewing these like crazy curves that are just tricky, and then you get to the straight parts and you can shoop. And this all came unclipped. I think maybe I should have stapled. It's just this vinyl. It's gonna be so worth it, like how good it looks. I went in the tiniest bit on the seam allowance just so I could get around that corner. Alright. Tricky part again. Bulk. Again, if you get that needle down, readjust. I've seen people put like a wider gusset here too, and I do feel like that is a good idea. Alright, so this wasn't perfect, but I don't think you'll be able to tell. Like, this is what's important. Actually, that looks looks really good. I caught everything. Amazing. Okay. Now we're going to top stitch this all down. Aren't we? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to start at the bottom. I can't remember. I think she tells you. Oh yeah, okay. So she does tell you to gently pull your sides like I'm doing, because you want to make sure you're going through that seam and it's not trying to like hide on you. As always, take your time. Oh, I'm so excited to be done with this pocket. This is like the hardest part of this bag for me. Okay, so this is how it looks. And then when that's open, that's what it looks like. Okay, I need to put my logo on before I forget. So where's my ruler? Okay. Let's see here. Standing up again. I think here be good. All right, so let's see. Wow, that's pretty darn straight. Okay, we're almost there. I'm almost there. We're doing it together. We're almost there. Okay, I'm going to knot my threads off for this. So I'm gonna pull this one to the back before I finish. And then into that same hole. Alright. So now we just need to take the lining for the front and baste that to the completed front panel. I love that the picked the cat mom zipper pull. Just kind of makes me laugh. If you didn't watch the cutting video, she picked a cat mom zipper pull, and she said that she was picking it because she loves me, her mom. And I was like, well, it means that you are a cat mom. She's like, oh, that too. Okay. So the panel gets a little wonky with that pocket, so I might want to stitch it with this on top just so I can see everything get caught. Yeah, what the what the heck? I could have struggled on that too because that piece might not have been completely right. I don't know. It is what it is, and I made it work. Why? I'm gonna make it work. See, I made it work. Yeah. Okay. So we have our front panel, our back panel, and our gusset. We're ready to assemble. It's so exciting being at the end. Okay, I grabbed my strips of binding. I'm gonna go ahead and just trim these real quick because we don't want those on the ends. All right, so if you have a specific front and back of your gusset, you need to make sure you put it in the right spot. I'm going to start with my back. I'm so sorry. I'm going to start with the back because just gonna throw things everywhere. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm going to start with the back because there's a lot more to work around. Yeah, it's fine. No, let's not start with, no, we are just keeping on your toes. Okay. So you're going to want to make sure you fold your handle out of the way and figure out, I swear I marked this. I know I did. Okay, there's a mark there. It was like right on that line. Okay. So you're going to take your gusset and you want the outsides to match up. So put those markings together and clip. And I mean, this is a big gusset. Thea said that's gonna be chonky. That's what we say about chubby cats. Okay. And then find your bottom center, line that up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple clips here. Okay. Then we have marks on our sides, and that is where the seam of our gusset is going to go. Put a couple clips there, and then let's see here. Yep, that looks like it's gonna be great. Same thing on this side. Line that up. Couple of clips. Okay, now we need to finish clipping. So much. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep this in camera, but I kind of have to move it towards me some at the same time. So see how that just fits kind of perfectly. That is so good. That's what we want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip this, baste it, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the binding, and then I'll just time lapse through the end so that you don't have to watch me do this in normal speed twice, because it's, I don't know, it gets boring. Okay. Oh, look at this. It matches up so well. I'm so excited. I was kind of nervous. Like, I remembered it working, but then I was like, well, what if I do it wrong this time? I'm gonna throw a couple of staples because I want to make sure that it stays like that. Okay, I'm gonna stitch this at 1/4 of an inch, and that's just gonna baste this all together. And you can, when you're doing gussets, it helps if you unzip it so that you can manipulate it more. Okay, when you get to these bottom curves, like, this is another one of those, like, take it a stitch at a time. Like, do a stitch, lift with the needle down. You might not be able to, like, perfectly do it without a pucker right there, but you should be able to get pretty darn close. I didn't really make sure my webbing was out of the way. Thankfully, it's fine because you do want that to lay flat. Alright, make sure that everything is good. So that's what that is looking like. Alright, this is how I am doing my binding. First, I'm going to take this, I'm going to trim it just slightly past. And I'm going to seal that really well. Probably could have like done a fold over thing. I think it would have been too many layers. Next time I do a backpack, I'm doing the little triangle things. Okay. So, I'm going to take one of our strips of binding and which way do I want to do this? It doesn't really matter. I'll just angle it a tiny bit. Okay, so I'm going to start this off clipping. And I do this on my cylinder arm a lot, but since this is a bigger bag, I'm just going to do over here so I don't have to switch machines. Okay, so now I'm going to stitch this on at 3/8 of an inch. The LindSport mini pattern, which is what I'm making this off of, in that pattern you just fold the waterproof canvas over and just stitch it and then trim, and then it's fine. But I really like this. So at the curves, you're going to notch. And then this sucks a tiny bit because I'm on that curve again. Everything out of my way. I don't think I need to cut any notches for this curve up here because it's pretty, like it's a big curve. Oh, I almost forgot to take those staples out. Something you really don't want to leave in a bag, especially a backpack for a kid. Good job, Brittany. Okay, at least there were only 4. Almost there. Oh, gotta cut notches for the curve. Okay. Alright, and then once you get back to the start, you're gonna just trim. That seriously was like the perfect amount. Okay. So now we're gonna fold it all over and clip. So I'm going to start here, and then you're just folding this over. I will say too, this is kind of a lot of layers. So if you don't think your machine could do this, but I mean, I used, like, this has 2 layers of that thick vinyl. I've got foam, I've got interfacing, I've got waterproof cam, like, there's a lot. Oh, I should have done it the other way. This is gonna have the raw edge, but you really can't see. It really doesn't matter. If you don't like having a raw edge, then I would suggest doing a binding method that doesn't have it. It looks really nice on like the side that's like this though, like really nice. Alright, so I like to start right here, and then you're just stitching on the edge. And you're catching the other side because it is longer and it's going to be trimmed. So with this method, there is no like, oh crap, did I catch it? Yeah, this is real thick right there. And like I said, I usually use my cylinder arm for this part. So, and this, you don't have to be like real accurate on seam allowance because the stitch that's under that fold has already set the seam allowance and how your bag's gonna truly look. So that is what that looks like, and now we're going to trim this. So you basically, with the waterproof canvas, can like slide your scissors most of the way, except for on this curve. So you kind of just go like this. It's pretty cool. And that'll give you a smoother cut. I'm trying to do it in the camera. Alright, so that is that side. I'm going to repeat everything I just did on the front. And like I said, I'm going to time-lapse that so you don't have to watch me slowly do it. And then I'll come back to flip the bag and we'll be done. We did it. It's done. Time to turn it right side out and hope it looks good. It's gonna look good. I know it. How could it not? Oh, okay. Vinyl is thick. I mean, I made it so that it would be sturdy. Which is kind of funny because it's like, I feel like I gotta make it like sturdy, but backpacks like from the store are pretty flimsy. You just pack them so full that I feel like the things inside of them are actually what gives them the structure that they have. So the curves aren't perfect. I didn't think that they were going to be because all this vinyl, but it's not bad. Like that, it's not bad. These curves up here look great. George just walked up here. This looks phenomenal. And you can just like train it to go where you want it to go. These front curves, again, not perfect, not bad. Considering the materials and resizing and everything, oh my gosh. It's so cute. I feel like it might be bigger than the one I made before. Maybe it's just the materials that make it like pop up more. Oh my gosh. Now that is a backpack. I know you can't see all of it. I'm sorry. There's like little threads I'm trying to... Okay. So there is our back. I just need to figure out exactly where these straps are gonna sit for her. And then there is the front. And on the inside, we have our slip pocket. The padding is nice there too. Well, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for sticking it out with me. As I said, I have a cutting video to go along with this sewing video, and I have the links for everything in the description. I hope you have a great day. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what backpack you like making, because I'm looking for some other suggestions too. Have a great day. Bye.